As an instrument pilot, you'll often be plagued with a decision, NOS versus Jepp. Hey everyone, Jason Schappert here, MzeroA.com, and I'm going to share with you three key differences between the government charts, NOS charts as they're called, and the Jepp instrument approach plates here as well. So we'll be working through those. Let's focus more specifically on the approach plates rather than the low and root charts. We can come back and revisit low and root charts, but you'll see a lot of similarities. Here's the first thing. I said I was going to point out three. I'm really going to point out four. So let me start with this. Remember this. The FAA flies all of these approaches. Actually, you've probably seen the FAA King Airs. They always have very short tail numbers. And the FAA King Airs, it's these individuals' entire livelihood to fly instrument approaches and check them for their accuracy. They are the most instrument proficient and current pilots that we have in the entire airman database. They come in Ocala, but you see them about once every 6 months. They check the instrument approaches, they go miss, and they go around and check all the other ones. So the FAA, and that's not a knock on Jepp, by the way. What I'm saying is the FAA creates these, flies them. Jepp is just pulling the data and making the data easier to use. But the FAA is the one actually going out there and cross-referencing them. So you may see some different dates of validity on some charts as well between the NOS and the Jepp. But let's start with a few key differences. What you see right here, on the left side of your screen, that's the Jepp approach plate. On the right side of your screen, that's the government plate. Obviously, a big difference is price. We'll talk about that in a second. But where I really want to start is actually up top here with what's called the briefing strip. Fun fact for the day. We call this the briefing strip on either plate. However, Jeppesen, I've never seen them fight this, but they actually own the trademark. If you can zoom in really close over here, there's a registered, it's actually a TM, so it's not really registered yet. Maybe it already is, I'm not sure. Showing the briefing strip with their little trademark. Perhaps they've already trademarked it and they just need to update it to a little registered. Anyways, Jepp owns the name briefing strip, although we call it on both. What I like about the Jepp briefing strip is it's so seamless. Everything flows with how I would actually do my approach brief, which we'll talk about, and I'll do an approach brief in next week's video. But going through here, I start with my frequencies, working my way all the way across. Whereas on the NOS chart, on the government chart, I'm coming across, I get my WASH channel frequencies and some stuff, some data that really doesn't pertain to me and what I'm flying here. And then I have to dig further down to grab frequencies. Then, again, some more frequencies. I have all my altitudes laid out here. The only thing I'm not crazy about in the Jepp chart is they include the MSA, it's the minimum safe altitude diagram here. I like to see it down here in the plan view, a little bit more like on the NOS chart. But I do agree, point for Jepp, they certainly do a better job with the briefing strip, in my just honest professional opinion. So here's the next big difference I want to point out here. It's the symbology that they use. Let's look over at the VORs. You see over here we have the battleground VOR. And here's the same battleground VOR, but look at the different icons. Same VOR, very different icons. This is probably a more traditional icon you're used to looking at. They wanted this icon to really jump out at you on the Jepp chart. But here's perhaps my favorite differentiating factor. Notice the box that gives our VOR frequencies. Kind of this rounded rectangle here, very similar on the NOS chart. However, now look down at the localizer. It's also this rounded rectangle box. Where Jepp really differentiates is VORs are shown in this type of box, whereas when we're looking at localizers and things of this nature, you see they're in more of an oval shaped box. Same frequencies, same data is all shown here. I do also love that I get the 103 degrees shown right here. It's my approach course from here, just shown a bunch of different ways. I show my final approach course here. I show my final approach course here as well. Again, same information, all just presented differently, but I like that. So you're not getting confused. You know that, hey, if I'm looking for my localizer frequency in the plan view, I look for the oval shaped box. If I'm looking for the VOR, I'm looking for the more rectangular shaped box. Whereas they kind of share the same shape. Yes, they do make this one bold, but I don't believe it jumps out to you enough per se. Lastly, a point that I think the government charts really win on is I like the airport diagram. Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm a little bit weird, but let's look. You see on the right-hand side, we still get a tiny, again, it's tiny, airport diagram here. Again, you're not taxiing off of this thing, but if you're looking for basic runway orientation, I'm flying at a 10 right or 10 left. I'm a little confused as to which is which. Oh, I can see 10 right extends out just a little bit further, and runway 3 here kind of crosses it a little bit, but doesn't cross 10 left. So I can help when I'm up there to differentiate between the two if I get confused. And it's just a quick, easy way to look down. Now, by losing that, not having on the Jepp though, in the profile view, we can really extend this out and kind of really show each drop, each descent as need be, where we kind of cram everything in here on the actual government chart. So it's nice. Again, I like having the airport diagram, but I see the benefit here looking at the Jepp charts as well. Obviously, cost is the next big thing in this. Jepp charts are expensive. We subscribe to them, by the way. We have them through our Avidyne unit, so I have charts always in the airplane. We'll also get them on ForeFlight on the iPad as well. But if you just hopped in the airplane one day with me to do some IFR flying, you're going to end up seeing me using NOS charts. I certainly know how to use Jepp charts. I actually used Jepp charts exclusively way back in the day for my CFII. Back when I thought I was going to be an airline pilot and a military pilot, it just made sense to use Jepp charts. That's what everybody was using. Obviously, life and circumstances certainly change from time to time. And I found myself right back to using the NOS charts. Cost was actually a big reason for that. I was a poor college kid. It took everything to save up to buy Jepp charts at the time. NOS charts, the price was just right on them. Anyways, what charts do you like and why? I gave you 3 or 4 cool little comparisons. What are some other comparisons that I didn't cover? Leave them in the comments below this video on YouTube, on Facebook, on MzeroA.com. And all this month, we'll be sharing more great IFR tips and tricks. In fact, next week, we'll be briefing this exact same approach plate. And then later on in the month, we'll be flying that approach as well. So listen, have a wonderful rest of your day. And most importantly, remember, a good pilot is always learning. Have a great day, guys. We'll see ya. Take a 2-week free trial of our online ground school and see why Aviation Consumer Magazine named it the top online ground school on the market. The first thing you'll notice is that we never teach to the test. We teach real-world skills that are going to keep you and your loved ones safe when you fly. Now, it's because of this real-world teaching, you'll pass your knowledge test and your check ride with flying colors. With one membership, you get access to all our courses, plus weekly webinars with myself and this outstanding MzeroA.com team. It's really like an interactive TV show broadcast from our studio, where you get to interact with a team of CFIs. We also offer live support and email support to make sure you succeed. Now, one thing you'll notice is that MzeroA is like nothing else on the market. It is truly a flight training community geared towards making you a safer, smarter pilot, because a good pilot is always learning. It's much more than a slogan for us. It is truly a mission. So click below and take a 2-week, no strings attached trial of our top-rated private, instrument, commercial, and FOI courses. Once you join our flight training community, I promise you will never want to leave.